don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. You know, they've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Bears are going to the Super Bowl, Eberflus Coach of the Year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play is there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
This would have been a bet that I would have lost big on in terms of betting on Trevor Lawrence thus far. Because, Vinny, I thought he was an absolute rock-solid, can't-miss first overall pick.
They're underachieving a bit. I mean, I don't think this is the best adjustment team with Doug Peterson. He's not the best adjuster. If everything's kind of falling into place and everyone's executing well and he can just do what they want to do.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in-game live game day on this fabulous football Friday. Yes, although we have quite more than that tonight. I'm Scott Wetzel along with Dave Sharapan for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time. What a great day to be a player for sure, right? We got NBA tonight. We got college basketball, including the Dookie Pukies in action. We got college football with one of our best betting systems in play tonight. We got NHL with a couple of live dogs. How about an NFL can't lose teaser coming up? And, of course, the self-proclaiming award-winning opposite picks coming up as well. What's going on, Mr. Sharapan? How are you tonight, bud?
Good to see you. Always love the Friday show. You at the beach house, me out in Vegas. Yes. Of course, opposite picks in the second hour. Colby Dant in the first hour. Cam Stewart in the second hour. Hockey, basketball, pro and college. Big weekend of college football looming. I mean, a big weekend. A lot of games that are going to have an impact on the playoff, whether or not teams are going to make it or not. And, of course, we'll peek ahead to the NFL Sunday. But, yeah, I'm excited. Again, defending the Big Ten, wearing my school colors, Penn State, playing at Minnesota. The perfect opportunity to trip up, not cover the spread, possibly even lose. We'll get to all that later. Who did you have in the hockey? We got to get it out of the way because the Penguins are playing. They're playing the Jets, and I really like the Jets today. You?
Yeah, you know what? I like both underdogs. That's amazing. You're a Penguin fan. You're going to be on Winnipeg. I'm not necessarily a Jet fan, but I like Pittsburgh. You know what? I'll give you a couple of numbers. First one, really 3 numbers. One, I'm getting Pittsburgh plus almost $1.50 at home. How many times has that happened, right? So Pittsburgh goalie Tristan Jarry, 5-1 lifetime versus Winnipeg, 1.16 goals against average in 6 career starts. Pretty good. Here's another one for you. Pittsburgh, 20-2 their last 22 games at home against the Winnipeg Jets. Now, I know this is not your classic Pittsburgh team, and I know this is probably not your classic Winnipeg team, but 20-2, I got a goaltender who's done very well against you guys, meaning Winnipeg, and you want to give me $1.45, $1.50? It's too good to pass up, Dave.
All right. Winnipeg's the most profitable team in the NHL this season. I think if you're betting them straight, you're up almost 9 units. And then the next team is like 4. Like there's a huge drop off. This is how good Winnipeg has been. And the Penguins, not so much. It's coming to reality very
20 and
quickly.
2. I can't stand in front of a 20-2 train. I don't care if you and I are in goal for Pittsburgh, right? 20
But
and
keep
2.
this in mind. Winnipeg is in the West Conference. So they play
Right.
once a year, 1-1, twice a year, So that's over
Right.
22 years. Nothing that you have from 22 years ago is as good as it is now. Nothing. Although your hair would be close. Like, I mean, really.
There it's still there.
close.
It's still mine. It's
It is.
it's still mine.
It is. It's
What's
close.
left?
Right. But other than that, I don't know. I don't know what a different team. And I'm watching the end of the Penguins as constructed. It's happening. They make the playoffs. They get outshot pretty much every game. I don't know. I like Winnipeg.
How about Anaheim? Now, listen, there aren't too many times I'm going to suggest putting hard-earned American money on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, right? But a couple things. One, well, they're getting plus 140 at home. Not bad. Two, they're 4-1. Believe it or not, their last 5. They're playing their best hockey. Now, you may say, 3, that might not last long, Scott, and you're probably right. But last year, at this time, they ripped off a crazy 6-7-game win streak. I don't think they won ever again after that, but somehow or another, they were 7-4 last year. So that this is kind of when, okay, goofiness occurs. Buffalo's only 3-5 on the road. You want to give me, again, plus $140? I think if you take Pittsburgh and Anaheim, chances are you get the split and you walk away with double the fun and you make a couple of shekels.
I like that play. I like Anaheim. I went on the hockey show earlier today with Casey, and I had the Duck stuff on. I was going to keep it on for this show, but last time I wore this Penn State stuff on the show on Friday, they smoked their opponent, and that's what I want to happen again. So I was like, you know what? Let's get in Penn State football mode. I like the Ducks. I'm surprised by the price. When if you do your own numbers, it should be Buffalo after they're already on the West Coast. Like minus 120 is tolerable, minus 125 maybe, not minus 164. That's really high. I mean, what it tells me is that whoever made that number or the initial number thinks that Buffalo's going to win, and now they're betting Buffalo like they're going to win. I'm good with taking the Ducks. I'm good with that.
Yeah. And they know that Buffalo did win against L.A., but I'm thinking, all right, they perceive the trip of let's get 1 out of 2 in the Los Angeles area, right? So they did that the other day. So now it's kind of like playing with house money, but, a good team would say, okay, let's go 2-0 in this little 2-game little trip that we got into Los Angeles. But a mediocre team like Buffalo says, all right, we accomplished what we wanted to set out for. We got 1 win. See you later. Go ahead and win Anaheim. So good value.
Nobody actually says that. No one in the locker room actually says that. The gambler
Here's what happens. All right, I wanted to keep it clean. So Wednesday night, they go into LA, they win. They're in Los Angeles for 2 days. They got an off day the next day. They're out, Wednesday night. If you think they're going back home watching Gabe and the Cam, 2 hours on SportsGrid, you got another thing coming as good as their show is, right? They're going out, they're partying, they're drinking, they're having fun. And they're like, okay, that's it. We're done. So you think they're really mentally prepared for an Anaheim game? It's the Ducks. If LA was on the back end, maybe they would be because, LA's halfway decent. But, who's getting up to face the Anaheim Mighty Ducks? So let's go Anaheim tonight.
It's a fair assessment. I'll say that's a fair assessment. We'll leave it at that. Let's get these Winnipeg Jets in first, and then we'll get to the hockey sweat later. So I'll keep an eye on that one here. What else you got on deck here? You looking more at college or NBA?
We'll go college football. Let me throw that out for you because we have one of our favorite betting systems, the Coach's Fired system, which hit again last night with the Boston Bruins, Dave. I'm telling you, that is a great – now, it's best in college football, but it works in other sports, hockey as well. Hockey is probably like the next tier of how it works. The NFL is like the last. They don't care. I still play it, but they don't really care. It's the NFL, right? But we got the Temple firing their head coach this week. I get it. It's college football. You got to worry about recruiting and this and that, so you do it now during season, not at the end of the season. I like them, as bad as they are, Temple, against the Texas San Antonio team. They are down 14-3, but they got a first and goal, and they're getting 21.5, which is amazing because it's down 14-3. I would think, unless they didn't score here, that 21.5 is a pretty good number. It was 17 or so to start the game.
Yeah. I have my eye on the late game. I better be honest.
State?
UNLV
San
and San Jose State.
Yeah. I like San Jose State.
Plus the points. I'm surprised that's over 7. Really?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? Go ahead. Well, I was going to say, it was a misleading final last week against Boise. They ended up not even covering the spread as like 2 touchdown underdogs. That was a game that they were leading. Forget about covering the spread. Then Boise scored like a whole slew of points in the final quarter.
San Jose State, you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like San Jose State tonight. I think they could win, believe it or not. My in-game live continues here on the Grid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in-game live. Game day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave just getting underway. Hour number 1 of our 2-hour extravaganza. A little smorgasbord, a little college football. We got some NFL news. Brock Purdy out with San Francisco's starting lineup. Daniel Jones, Danny Nichols, as we like to call him, out completely as Giants quarterback. And I know the team. I heard your conversation with Sharapan or with Ranieri. And there's one team that you left out that makes the absolute, by far, most sense. We can get into that if you want. And we got a little NBA and a little college basketball with the Dookie Pukies in action a little bit later on tonight. So, yeah. You want to know the one team?
I do. You've piqued my interest.
Yeah. And when I tell you, it's going to be like, yeah, you know what? And as a fan of mine, or as a fan of this team, I don't even want to suggest it and put the possibility out there. But what's the situation realistically Danny Nichols is looking for, right? He wants to get on a good team, doesn't want to get on a bad team. And a bad team probably wouldn't want him anyway. What's the point? We don't want to win games. It's a bad team, right? So is he going to take over a team that's got, a great team? Probably not. San Fran would be one if they think Purdy's going to be out for a long time. But who's like the next team in line would be? And I'm surprised Joe didn't suggest this. The Miami Dolphins. Dolphins got a quarterback who's as brittle can be. They're, on the cusp of getting back into the playoff picture. They win this weekend, which they probably will against the New England Patriots. Now there's maybe 1.5 games back. Their backup situation sucks completely, right? We saw that, for 3 games when Tua was out. So, you're not going to play, but chances are you will play Daniel Jones. And if you do play, you're throwing to Tyreek Hill, you're throwing to Waddle, you got a great offense. You could get a team interested in you for next season. I hate to say it, but the Dolphins are like the perfect team for him.
Why do you hate to say it? Is a Dolphins fan, you don't want to see it? What?
Oh, good God. He stinks, Steve.
You just sounded like his agent.
I know. But that's what I would be telling the Dolphins. Your quarterback, he's good, but, he's about, there's no way in the world Danny Tua Tags is lasting the season. There's no way. He's going to get hurt again. So do you want to go to Skylar Thompson?
I don't know. He knows how to slide and stuff now. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, sure he does. Yeah. Like my wife was out of cook and clean. What are you kidding me?
Whoa!
Thank goodness
you don't watch this show. Oh, man. You'd be locked in that beach house forever if she watched the show. New England's playing the Dolphins. You got any shot for the Patriots to actually win the game? No.
None. This has got, again, dare I say it as a Dolphin fan, this has got Miami. This is the classic Miami Dolphins game, as last week's was against the Raiders. This is when Tua, this is why he's making $40 million a year. Games like this. I say that because, first off, the Dolphins have covered 8 straight against the Patriots, right?
Oh, my.
8 in a row. Against losing teams, 21-10. Against winning teams, only 5-17, but obviously the Patriots are a losing team, so he excels. As a 4-point favorite or more, as he is here, Tua Tags, 14-1 straight up, 11-4 against the spread. When he faces opposing offenses / teams that average 21 points or less, as the Patriots do, 16-2 his last 18 games. They don't lose to teams like this. And Tua is the greatest thing in the world against games and teams like this. So it's a big number, but I would be laying the 7 with Miami.
Yeah, try to make a case all week with Peralt on BVB.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I said there's no way. Unless the game gets into a shootout and they cover like late, right? Like they're driving down 10 or something and score to get a late touchdown backdoor. That's the only way I see that one.
Yeah. I don't, or Tua gets hurt like we think he will eventually. But
sound like you're trying to talk that into existence.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to be done with them after this year, to tell you the truth. But then, you know what the worst thing can happen as a Dolphin fan? They sign Danny Nichols. Tua gets hurt. Nichols plays great, leads them to the playoffs like Flacco did with the Browns, and then all of a sudden they say, all right, we're going to bring Daniel Jones back. Tua, you might as well retire. And then they sign Jones to a crazy contract. Oh, my! If they did that, I would just stop being a sports fan. I would just, you know what? I would stop. So,
come on.
NBA. Oh, well, what about Purdy, real quickly? I heard you saying you got San Fran laying the 2.5. Now it's up to FanDuel's got it at what do they have it at right
5.5.
Wow, 5.5.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And I like to joke all the time about the CLV, the closing line value, because a lot of people make it a bigger deal or an excuse that you had a really good bet when you had the really wrong side because you had a really good number. I got a Green Bay -2. I liked them even when Purdy was playing. So having a Green Bay -2 and it now being 5.5, I'm scared to death. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be one of those ones. It's supposed to be easy. It looks easy. You got such a good number, and then San Francisco gets Brendan Allen to have a great game as a backup, and they win. I don't think it's going to happen though. I really don't. I really like Green Bay. San Francisco, 500 team, Wetzel, and not really lighting anybody up offensively.
No. I'd be more concerned if they started Joshua Dobbs. Have they said it's Brandon Allen? Or are they going to pull a giant and go to the third stringer?
No, Allen.
Allen? I'm a little surprised about that, but all right. I guess he's better. I'll trust their judgment, I suppose. I think this Niners team's in trouble. If I'm Green Bay, I'm
trouble
putting 8
of
men in
what?
the box.
Not making the playoffs?
Yeah. And then what do you do with Purdy? Yeah, he hasn't exactly played great this year. It's the same team that went to the Super Bowl one year and the very next year traded up and drafted Trey Lance. So could Brock Purdy
They played in the Super Bowl here in Vegas?
I know, and then they traded up to go get Trey Lance. Had no faith in Jimmy G. Where's their faith in Brock Purdy?
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid on a Friday. Opposite picks coming up in about an hour or so. Colby Dant coming up in about 5 minutes or so. The College Experience podcast, we'll get some winners from him. In the meantime, how about little SGP, same game parlays? All right. Not often we kind of reflect on a different game to help our same game parlay, but if you thought maybe Pittsburgh, Anaheim, and hockey tonight would get a split, good news because Pittsburgh's losing. So that means better chance for Anaheim to at least win, which is where we're going to start. Little sixth legger. Let's go with the Mighty Ducks, plus 136, 138 in that area, depending on where and when you do your shopping against Buffalo at home. They won 4 of the last 5, so why not? You want to give me that big of a number? Buffalo stinks, right? Period, let alone on the road. It's 3 and 5. So give me Anaheim. They're playing well. Give me over 2.5 goals, Anaheim. That shouldn't be any problem if they're going to win the game, right? Both teams to score. I threw it in there just to bump it up a couple of extra points. Do need over a half a goal, Anaheim first period, minus 136. Not too concerned with that. And then a couple of guys who average 2.5 shots on goal for Anaheim. Frank Vetrano, he's minus 660. And then Troy Terry, who's a bit of a slump here, getting shots on goal. He's minus 265. Add it all up, doesn't pay a lot, 4.5 to 1. But, basically you're turning a plus 138 underdog into a plus 450 underdog. As long as they score the first period. That's the one that's kind of like the stickler, Dave.
Right. Yeah. All right. We got the listing glasses on. I like the Ducks. The thing that beats you here is if they lose the game, right? I mean, you got to win the game.
Right.
You put the graphics department to the test with that. Yes, both teams to score minus 1460. I think that's the first time that we have a 4-digit minus on there. All right. But I mean, it's not going to be a shutout. Although Buffalo had a shutout, the other day against the Kings, right? They won 1-0. Yeah. So, all right. Well, this will keep us involved, after the show. That's a 7:00 start, right? So we'll have something to pay attention to in addition to that UNLV San Jose State game. It's going to kick off at 7:00 Pacific, 10:00 Eastern. We could parlay that same game parlay. Oh, you can't put that with the total in the UNLV game. I like the under, but we'll see.
In the football game or an hockey game? The football?
No, in the UNLV game. Yeah.
Right.
San Jose State's supposed to be windy, bad weather.
Ooh. I'll give you a good trend about these 10:00 starts. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. Where is it? Hold on.
What did I see in the... Go ahead.
What's that?
No, go ahead. Go.
Games that start at 10:00 Eastern time or later, as this one does, over the last decade, 322 unders, 250 overs with 3 pushes. Wow. Yeah. And it's had more unders every single year. But that's the cumulative, about 72 more unders. Goofy, fluke, and that's Mountain West. That's whack. Those are conferences that generally produce nothing but points, right? So
back in the day, yeah. But no, not now, right? I mean, a lot of the Knights games have been unders. I don't know. There's the football game. Hold on.
How about this?
We got to talk about this football game. Look at this football game.
What we got?
The UNLV Rebels and San Jose State. UNLV still playing for a piece of the Mountain West. They can still get in the championship game. But they're 7.5-point road favorites. Surprising to you or no?
Yeah, I think that's like I said before the break. San Jose State last week hosting Boise State, right? They're leading in the game. I think it was 14-0. Where did they get 14 points, 13 points? Terrific at home and everything else. And then Boise blitz them in the second half. They score 14 points late in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
And they end up not only winning but covering the spread 42-21. But it was a misleading final. But because that final was what it was, you got to bump this one up to 7.5. I think San Jose State can win the game.
I do too. Everybody's going to be they're on the edge of, having a really good season, finishing out strong, and possibly playing for the Mountain West or at least in a good bowl game. Nobody in town here wants to see them lose tonight. Go ask Colby.
Yep, Colby Dan coming up next.
two guys that can do it all. It's
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Dave for another hour and a half or so as we check out the college basketball, college football scene with our good buddy. You see him, maybe a little NFL as well, who knows, all the time right here on the Grid. Check out his podcast, the College Experience Podcast. Mr. Colby Dant, who's rocking what I can't see. What is on that? Usually you have your college experience cap on. What is on the front of that cap?
Tell them what it is.
Yeah, DGen University. We give out diplomas over here at SGPN. I'll have to send you guys something because you guys are well qualified. All right.
Degenerate University. I got it.
Yes,
we are.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, you got to be careful, Cole, when you come on. Sometimes the monitor's farther away and Wetzel can't see it. Even at the beach house, that spacious beach house that he's at, the comeback monitor's really far away.
The sand gets in my eyes, too.
It's unbelievable what this guy has to do here. Yeah. All right, listen, let's start with this. All right, Colorado is playing at Kansas. And the Big 12, I think, wants to see Colorado go. I think a lot of college football fans want to see Colorado go to the playoff or at least the Big 12 championship game. They're 3-point favorites, some 2.5s at Kansas. Kansas just took out BYU last week. Any thoughts on this game, sir?
Yeah, and they took out Iowa State the week before. All the contenders in the Big 12 conference. Sure. I do think the Buffs get it done. I think they're coming together as a team. I think a lot of it has to do with them playing this at Arrowhead, though, and not in Lawrence, Kansas at David Booth Memorial Stadium. But look, the Buffs' run defense continues to improve. I will say it's a super dangerous game, though, because I do feel like Lance Leipold in that offense, there's nothing really that mimic it in the Big 12. So, like, if this is Colorado's rejoining the Big 12. They've not really faced any offense like this that I can recall in the prime era. So, I think it's a scary game, but I do think just at the end of the day, Colorado's playmakers and the fact that I think they're actually, I know a lot of personal people that are Buffs fans that are actually traveling to that. So I think it might be more 50-50 from a crowd point of view, which kind of neutralizes the game some. I think Colorado gets it done, in a close game, but I do think down the stretch, I wouldn't be surprised too if you had your Heisman moment from Travis Hunter meaning game-winning touchdown pass from Shador to Travis Hunter. And but I just think Robert Livingston has really made that defense really good. And Warren Sapp, the D-line coach, that defensive line is much better. They lead the Big 12 in sacks. I think they can pressure Jalen Daniels into some turnovers there. But I do think this is going to be a game that goes all the way to the fourth quarter.
What about Ohio State, Indiana? Same thing, or are the Buckeyes going to? Will Indiana win outright, or can they at least cover?
Well, with my heart, I feel like I got to take Indiana. Signetti just shows up on campus calling out everybody. So I just feel like, it's the father I never knew. But I do think Indiana can cover this game, right? Like they brought in so many veterans via, the transfer portal. JMU West is what they call it, because he brought in like 20 JMU transfers. Curtis Rourke, the Ohio Bobcats transfer at the quarterback spot. And I do think this Ohio State team is built differently. You've seen them kind of struggle in multiple games, kind of covering those big spreads. They're kind of built more like Michigan than those Urban Meyer teams. So I do think Indiana can kind of play into that a little bit from a defensive standpoint. And I do think there's a chip on the shoulder for a lot of those guys. I think they stay within the number. I think Ohio State still gets the win, though.
All right, another big favorite in the game with, a team that's in the playoff and a team that is trying to get in the playoff. Notre Dame, big number, 2 touchdowns against Army. It's been fun. It's been nice, but I don't think it's going to be fun or nice for Army on Saturday. I really don't. Can you make any case for Army, 1, winning, or 2, covering?
I can make the case for covering. I think a lot of people just assume Army is the same as Navy, which I don't think is an accurate assessment. You've seen Jeff Monken coach, he took Jim Harbaugh to overtime at Michigan. He also went to overtime at Oklahoma when he was taking on Lincoln Riley on a team that made the playoffs. So he has passed the test to me as far as some of these big games. Now, Notre Dame is a team that I think matches up well just on the line of scrimmage. But I'll tell you this, Army has the best athletes I can recall in my lifetime. With Tyrell Robinson and Uday at the running back spots, these guys I actually believe would be starters playing, D1 power, FBS football, and some of them Power 5 football. I think they're the most athletic players they've had in probably, probably 50 years, probably back since people were getting drafted and going to war. So I do think in that regard, they can strike a little more fear in your defense than they so often get paired to Navy. Navy to me just they're disciplined, but they don't have those game breakers. Tyrell Robinson is a guy that can break a 90-yard touchdown. If you give him that lane, he can break that for a touchdown. And Army hasn't had a lot of those guys over the course of time. So I think they can stay within the number there, but they have to. And Army's defense a lot better than Navy's too. But the main thing to me would be, can they hold up on the line of scrimmage? I'll tell you, I think Monken can dial up a play. And I also think this is their best passing quarterback they've ever had under Jeff Monken and Bryson Daly. So he's way more accurate than your other quarterbacks that they've had there. So maybe that alone can keep them in this game more so. I love Monken as an underdog. This is a guy that played wide receiver with Jeff Query at Millikan University. I like just taking a shot on the points because everyone I've talked to is on Notre Dame. Every single person I've talked to. And Monken has a history of kind of messing with these teams. Now, normally it's not Notre Dame. Normally it's Michigan or Tennessee paid them $1.5 million to not play last year, and I thought it meant more in the SEC.
All right, how about A&M? Speaking of the SEC, laying only 2.5 against Auburn.
Yeah, I think it's a trap spot. Personally, I have A&M to make the playoffs, and I have a ticket on A&M to get to win the SEC championship. But I think this is a dangerous game. You saw Elko try to say, we're not focused on Texas. We're focused on Texas. He meant to say Auburn. But I think that alone speaks volumes because that's like the most anticipated game probably in the past they haven't played in over 10 years. So I think it's a dangerous spot. I also think A&M, they're so beat up. They've lost 2 running backs for the season. They're kind of iffy at the quarterback spot when passing the ball. I do think Auburn is live for the upset here. Give me the Tigers.
You see what I'm wearing? Penn State, Minnesota. I need to know. You've done it before. You've come on, given me the truth, and then also given me the opponent. I'm good with either one. I mean, I prefer you say you like Penn State, but 11.5 on the road at Minnesota. You know what James Franklin does? He covers, Cole. What do you think?
He's also lost 2 in a row in Minneapolis against PJ Fleck. So I think Penn State can still walk out with the win, but Minnesota gets the cover. I think this Minnesota team is a little bit better than people think.
Over under a half. How many teams get at-large bids that are not in the SEC and Big Ten? Any?
I don't think any. No.
Wow. I don't think so either.
Under.
Amazing. Yeah. Colby, great job. Check it out. College Experience Podcast. Your favorite little podcast store.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take. I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. In-game live game day here on the grid. Again, thanks to Colby Dan joining us as he normally always does on Fridays, sometimes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well. Check out his sports gambling podcast, the College Experience Podcast, giving us a little, maybe a basketball tip on his way out there, Dave. We didn't get a chance to ask him too much about hoops, but he likes UC Riverside getting 11.5 at Colorado State. So take it for what it is. grab it now. He thinks they can actually win outright, getting, I think FanDuel had it at, 6-1 plus 530 on the money line.
Yeah.
So
you don't hear
take
that
for
every
what it's
day.
worth.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
You don't hear you don't hear that when he
Not going to find
take
that on
that
other
dog
shows.
outright. Yeah.
Yeah. He
That's
starts
pretty
breaking
good.
down like the college basketball players on Cal Riverside. You know you're talking to someone who follows the sport, right? It's tough.
Loves it. Listen, there's guys like that though. And I mean, I used to work with guys like that would know when starters were out before, you saw it in the lines. I mean, that was their job. They had to have all of that. They poured through box scores every night. I called the one guy. He was like Rembrandt sitting in the corner, our college basketball guy. His last name, I called him, his nickname was the Hoof. And he had these spreadsheets, but they were all written by hand. He would not concede to put his stuff into computers, his power ratings and stuff. Pencil and eraser, Wetzel. I mean, pencil and eraser.
That's
believe it
old
or not.
school.
Yeah. Old school.
That's old school.
Old school.
Yeah. I hear these guys nowadays talk about their power ratings. I just kind of laugh. Like, there's 330 basketball teams. What kind of power ratings can you have on these teams, right? I mean, who's got that kind of time? But Colby definitely does. I will say that. He knows his stuff. Hockey, Winnipeg 3-0 now over the Pittsburgh Penguins after 2 periods. So that's not looking good, but that helps our other little bet. College football, they're approaching halftime. Our coaches fired system, we're hanging on. Temple's defense stinks. I will say that. Texas San Antonio leads by 11, 28-17. They got not one but 2 long touchdowns. I know one was 75 yards. I think the other one was pretty close to that. So we're down 11, getting 17. Right now the point spread is 21.5. Over might be the way to go because neither one of these teams is stopping the opposing team. 73.5. You got 45 right now. There's 2 seconds left. They're going to try a long field goal here, but maybe an over on that one. And a couple of possible upsets from monster favorites, Dave, in the NBA. The Wizards hanging tough with the Celtics. 2 minutes left in a bizarre game. Yeah, exactly. Not only are the Wizards like 70-70 with the Celtics, but it's 77 late third quarter. I mean, 70 is what I told you. The over-under was 66.5 for the Celtics for a halftime. We're almost through 3 quarters, and they only got 70 points. How crazy is that score? And then you got the Pelicans at the half leading Golden State, 63-62. I know Ingram was supposed to come back tonight, but they're still without C.J. McCollum, and they're still without Zion, and yet they're beating one of the hottest teams in the NBA. So a little bit of a discount on the price.
Half. Yes.
Yeah.
Discount on the price for the game right now in game. The Celtics was interesting because it looked like such a mismatch right before the game. And we talked about it, Matt and I did today on BVB. He told me it was 65.5. Would you still bet over? And I said, absolutely not. The book gets to a point where you come on here, we go on there, me and you talk about it. Like, it's out. The Celtics score over in the first half. And you got to go to a number that at least provides like a yield sign for bettors. It doesn't have to be a stop sign, but at least it's a yield sign where it's like, okay, maybe I need to slow down and think about that. And then, okay, I'll hit the gas and go anyway. Or, you know what? I'm going to come to a complete stop and I'm going to pass. So 65.5 was out here. You saw 66.5. That's the highest that I've ever seen. If it's 66.5. I never saw it over 65.5. So, tight game. Tight game. This NBA Cup is, I know,
it's
you're
right.
not
This
a
is the
big
NBA
fan.
Cup game. Yeah, I know. Because some games are, some games aren't. It's not all the games are NBA Cup games, so it's weird. It's like baseball where a team goes to Mexico or wherever and plays a 3-game series and then comes back home and plays 3 more exhibition games. What are we doing here? It's so goofy. so it's 3 or 4 games, and you figure out who's the leader in your division, but your division for this is different than your division in regular NBA standings.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have time for that.
They made it like they made it like soccer, right? It's like
right.
It's like soccer, like the Champions League, and they play for this cup in the middle of the season, and this means you qualify for this after. I don't know. Once we figure it all out, I know the totals have been going over in the cup games.
Yep.
More often than not.
Differentials is helpful.
It is helpful, and you want to keep starters in longer, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I mean, I might actually go to the finals here in Vegas. Might actually just shoot down, depending on who it is, see if we could get in that building and watch it in person. We'll see.
You know when I'll buy in? When the NBA has the guts to make the championship game on the better team's home court. They'll put it in Vegas because you could have a spitting contest in Vegas and people are going to go. Let's just say we'll take the best case scenario. It's Boston versus the Lakers, we'll say. But this is not part of your season ticket package. This is completely separate. So, and the game is this is the one game where it doesn't even count in your regular season standings, the championship is. So this is completely off the radar. How many people do you think, even in LA or Boston, are walking up to the window paying $100, $150 a ticket for basically an exhibition game? I don't think anybody.
At a home team?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have a black
maybe 5,000 people? That's coming up next.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back to In-Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 1, Scott and Dave for another hour. Plus, we got Cam Stewart next hour at right around 9:40 or so Eastern time. We got opposite picks coming up next hour. But this hour, we have our Black Cloud Play of the Day. All righty, going to go to the NBA. Oddly enough, not that many games starting from this point on. A little in college basketball, but we got the plays for that. But I do like this one in the NBA. We're going to go to Denver, where at this point, I'm not sure if the Joker's going to play or not. This would obviously help matters if he does. We're going to go over 224.5, 225.5. Dallas at Denver. Crazy enough to say, 224.25, really not. Now it's at 222. I'm guessing that means the Joker may not play. But you know what? Doesn't even matter. That's not a big number at all for an NBA game. It just isn't. So Dallas 4-1 over last 5 road games. Denver 9-4 over on the season, and that's been a couple of games without the Joker. Right? He's missed 3 already. Denver 5-0 over last 5 home games. It's a lot of overs. They're not monster numbers, but again, you're not asking me to go over that big of a number, 222.5. Dallas never plays any defense whatsoever. So give me over. I like that play a lot tonight, Dave.
As happy as I am with my Green Bay -2 and now current 5.5 line, what if I told you the current line on this was 228.5?
That tells me the Joker is playing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what he's doing. That's what the line is right now. So
I don't know where they got that 222.5 number from, because I saw it at 225.5, but then I saw it go to 224.5. So maybe it did go even lower. I bet what happened was there was word the Joker wasn't playing, so they dropped it, and then now we're finding out the Joker is playing. That's what I'm guessing.
Well, you're looking good. So that's a good one. I like. Now, does that ever give you like pause or hesitation? No. You don't care about that? That's good. Okay.
No. Yeah, even as good as the Joker is, right? We've seen this 1,000 times, just 1,000 times about guys sitting out. And you know what? Joker is playing tonight. There we go. Missed the last 3 games, personal reasons. He's making his return to the lineup tonight. That's why that thing pumped all the way up. So, but that's I almost rather, as crazy as it sounds, I'd almost rather have him not play, to tell you the truth, because he does grab a whole bunch of rebounds. Listen, he's got to get his points, but he's a big body, plays decent defense as far as getting rebounds. Give me some stiff who has never played any defense whatsoever, but can score points. So. Yeah, I'd rather have not play, but I'll take it just the same, over 220.5. He'll probably be so out of shape anyway. Now, supposedly his wife gave birth, right? So they had a child. That's personal reason. So now you want to play a hunch? How about what's his point total tonight? 23, 24, 25, something like that. Player points. They have him listed.
You would rather the Joker didn't play?
For an over, yeah. Is he going to be inspired tonight and go over 26.5? And he's probably saying, well, thank goodness, Wes, I just spent a whole week with my wife. God bless her. I love her, but, I got to get the heck out of here. Let me go back to the boys. I think he's going to be all pumped up to I know, but, or you say, how much sleep did he get? The wife's getting up in the middle of the night? Probably not, right? God bless her. She's the one that delivered. It's on you, pal.
Remember the energy you had when you had your kids? Like, I felt like Rocky Balboa. I mean, everything happened with me except my wife leaning over and just saying win. Like, all she had to do was say win. I was ready to training montages. We got a baby. Second one, it was like, man, we got another baby. The third one, I was like, holy crap, we got 3 now. I mean, you got to have energy. Joker's going to have a double, triple, double. You were traumatized?
Yeah, well, I was in the delivery room. And I was I was in the delivery room. I was catching. I was like Johnny Bench.
Me too.
Still, years later, I still can't get that out of my mind.
You can't unsee that. You can't unsee that.
Can't unsee that.
No. I mean, it happens. That's all right. Wow. You Scott can't unsee it, and he just had to take a quick break there. We are going to take a quick break. It's in-game live. Game day. We'll be back. Hour number 2.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome in. It's in-game live game day, hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott and Dave, as we are every Friday night until 10 p.m. Eastern time, hour number 2. You know what that means. College football opposite picks coming up at the bottom of the hour. We got Cam Stewart coming up in about 40 minutes or so. In the meantime, Dave and I looking at a couple of college football games. One that's going to kick off here in just about an hour or so. San Jose State, Big Mountain West game, taking on, who are they taking on again? It's so big I forgot who they were taking on again.
UNLV.
UNLV, right, exactly, right team. And then we got a little college basketball. We got the Dookie Pukies in action. Got a couple of decent college basketball games. You got Baylor and Tennessee, and you got the Dookie Pukies in Arizona, Dave. I like the over in both games. I know this is simplistic, but, Duke and Arizona, Duke averages 88 points. Arizona averages 94. That's 182, and they're giving us 160.5. And then you got Baylor and Tennessee. Baylor averages 88 points. Tennessee, 86. That's 174 points, and they're giving us 140. So I know it's there's a lot more to it than that. But sometimes you just, don't make this stuff harder than it has to be. I like the over in both those games.
The Arizona game's in Arizona. The other game is in a ballroom at the Baja Mar in the Bahamas. Have you ever been to a college basketball game in a ballroom in a hotel?
Can't say I have. I can't say I have, to tell you the truth.
So I'm telling you now, we're going to put in for this. We're going to go down. We'll do the show while we're down there. We're going to put in for the budget. So you don't have to tell the wife yet, but I'll just plant the seed over the summer. We'll go down there. Vinny will come with us too to make sure everything's right. We'll leave Maddie back at base to make sure the show runs good. But watching a game in a ballroom is a very, very different experience. I can tell you, it usually doesn't result in overs the first game. But it did yesterday. They got overtime, and Baylor went over against St. John's. It was an unbelievable basketball game. That game's going over. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I like that. How about Creighton, Nebraska? I bring it up, Battle of Nebraska, right? Creighton is in Nebraska. Nebraska 10-point, and I was going to play them, just not knowing about Nebraska basketball like I like their football, but I just figured, in-state battle getting double digits. They're leading at the half, 35-24, low-scoring game for Creighton. Yeah. You get Creighton. I bring it up because now you can get Creighton plus 1.5. Like, this is even if you can't spell Creighton or Nebraska, this is I got a double-digit favorite at home losing, and now I'm getting 1.5. Got to play that out of principle.
Yeah. I mean, you got to check the shooting percentages, because if they keep chucking threes and they're not making them tonight, this may be the night they don't come back. So this has a really big deal back there. Peralt covered Creighton for 5 years, Creighton basketball. So, he's super dialed in. He did pregame, postgame, all this other stuff. So we talked a lot about this game today. And he really liked Creighton because he said Nebraska can't shoot threes, or is not going to be good at shooting threes, and thought Creighton and the over. But he did say this correlates to Nebraska and the under if they're able to, slow the game down, or Creighton has a really bad shooting night. So, I didn't look at the shooting percentages yet, but if it's one of those situations where they just shot bad and they're going to shoot better in the second half, okay. So 3-pointers, 5 of 20.
Yeah.
They only shot 5 of 20. Oh, my.
And one kid hit 3 of them.
Oh, my
Take that
goodness.
kid off the team, and they only had 2 of them.
Yeah, see,
we're
they
talking
got
about
the
a ranked
rebounds
team.
are almost even. The assists are even. Nebraska played some good defense, 6 steals to 2. Wow. Okay. I think them, you got to win a game. I'd rather have them plus 3.5, like something like that at this point. I mean, they could lose 35. Well, it just started, and Creighton got the first basket. So now it's already switched. Yeah, you can get them plus 2.5 right now, or plus 120 on the money line. What do you prefer to plus 120? I prefer to 2.5.
No, I'll take the 2.5. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give up a couple extra points. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus 2.5.
Could be a close game. Yeah. Definitely. 1.5, maybe not, but 2.5 is a decent little.
2.5 is a good number.
Yeah. Interesting. I see St. John's beat Virginia 80-55. Good win for Rick Pitino after that tough loss yesterday, blowing that big lead that they had.
Is he back? Does he have a squad?
Yeah.
Like, he's back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's back. Yeah. He's got a good team. Didn't get monster recruits like Rutgers did, across the bridge, but he's got a bunch of good guys. Yeah. Kicked everybody. He kind of pulled the Dion, when he came here 2 years ago. He kicked everybody off the team.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Dion, college basketball. Told all the guys, see you later. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. You're not any good. I'm bringing in my guys. And he brought in his guys, halfway decent. And then this offseason, even that much better. So I figured he should have been at St. John's a long time ago. New Yorker, Italian, the whole kit and caboodle, right? Tough recruiting spot there, but if you can recruit at St. John's, you could kind of take over the city because there's not that much competition, especially without college football.
Everything like Lou Carnesecca except the sweaters, right?
Yeah.
Pitino got better suits for sure than Lou Carnesecca. But that's how St. John's was introduced to me, the Big East, the basketball, Chris Mullen, Lou Carnesecca. It was a tremendous time. That was a great time of Big East basketball back then.
That was the best.
Are you going to stay up late and watch North Carolina and Hawaii tonight?
I'll be up late. I think I'll be flipping the channels. That's a 12:30 start, my time. So I'll probably be up at halftime. If I put a couple shekels on Hawaii, getting the 16.5, right? Got to figure. That's actually in Hawaii? I wasn't sure about that.
Pretty sure, yeah.
All right. Hawaii kids, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids going to Hawaii. How focused are they going to be? Team that doesn't do that very often. Going to lay double digits.
It's called the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center in Honolulu, Hawaii. Know nothing about the building itself. You remember they used to play the Maui Classic, right?
Yeah, I get that. I've been in Hawaii. I know what the distractions are there.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Oh yeah. So that's a difficult little spot there. I got the
when were
under
you in
UCLA game.
Hawaii? When were you in Hawaii?
Honeymoon. We went to Kauai, Maui, and then the Big Island.
Kauai is the best.
Maui, which is the one that's kind of the mix. I think Kauai is the rainforest, right? We didn't like that too much. I think it was Maui was the best for us.
Okay. Yeah. Kauai is the best because it's untouched and uncommercialized.
Yes.
I like that one.
Right.
That was my favorite. Wow. Okay. Did you wear a Hawaiian shirt and all that stuff?
No, not really. Got in a fight with the wife. I did do that. But
on your honeymoon?
Yeah. You fight everywhere. Why should Hawaii be any different?
Aloha.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I'm ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave for another 40 minutes or so. 50 minutes actually, 45 anyway. Opposite picks coming up in about 15, and we got Cam Stewart coming up in about a half hour or so. Get some picks from him. Before we go back to the board, David, a little NFL talk I want to throw at you because I'm thinking about putting a monster play on this. I know we say this often, but I mean this one a little bit more than when we say it previously, when we've said it previously anyway. How can this NFL teaser lose? 10-point tease. We're going to drop Kansas City down from minus 10.5 to a minus a half. So basically pick them at Carolina. Right? Is Carolina beating the champion Chiefs? No way, right? Then we're going to drop Washington down from 10.5. Same thing against Dallas. I mean, that Dallas team is just putrid. There's just no way Washington at home, needing this win, is going to lose to the Cowboys. And 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have been decided by 10 points or more, let alone like being upset. So they're not losing. And then, maybe my favorite one out of all of them is Houston at home against god-awful Tennessee, which is 1-9 against the spread. Their worst mark in the NFL. They have the worst against the spread record over the last 2+ years, and we could actually be getting 2.5 points with the Houston Texans. Now, explain to me, Lucy, Ricky Ricardo phrase, how is that not winning? How is that not winning, right?
All right, let's look at this. Kansas City's winning. Houston's winning. Commanders going to lose to the Cowboys? No. Listen, sometimes the tickets would come out of the machine when I was at the counter, and I would just look at the guy and go, We'll see you Sunday night. He's like, what do you mean? Well, that's a winner. How do you know? I just know. I don't know. And more often than not, I was right. So this would come out, and I would go, there's a lot of people, again, I respect both in the content space and that are still like professional bettors, betting for a living, whatever you want to call it. They're making a case for Tennessee this week. Houston has been unimpressive. I don't know. Tennessee's the worst team in the league against the spread. Worst team in the league. I don't know. I think this is a winner. I'm just telling you now. Win outright. Now, what does a money line parlay pay with those three? Does it pay better?
Well, I checked it out, believe it or not, and it's almost identical, which I was a little surprised with because you're actually getting 2.5 points with Houston. It was minus 143 on a teaser on FanDuel, minus 141 if you put them in a money line parlay. So you might as well take the 2.5 points and with Houston get them in a tease. Would you go greedy? Would you go greedy?
Who are you involved in now?
You know me. Gotta go greedy.
Penn State?
No. Throw Detroit plus 2.5 at Indianapolis and get it down to pick them. Or even money. No?
No.
They're not losing to the Colts.
Huh?
Are they?
No? In a dome?
Yeah. Anthony Richardson. Gonna be Dan Campbell.
I mean, why don't you put your Dolphins in there? They're not losing to the Patriots, are they?
No, but I'm going to put them. I like the 6-point teasers too. Lions. I'm going to use Dolphins and Texans. How about a Texans Dolphins 2-point teaser? Both basically pick them. Miami's not losing, and I'm even a Dolphins fan. These are the numbers.
No,
this is what Tua does. He wins these games. We went over them before, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see Tennessee beating Houston at Houston. I mean, they're awful. I mean, Will Levis.
I would caution the Detroit one. Although I don't think they're gonna lose, but it might make you sweat and give you that uncomfortable feeling like you had when you were Johnny Bench in that room. I'm thinking about you squatting down like that, waiting. I was right there too. I loved every second of it. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Things that are supposed to be up were down. Things that were supposed to be to the left or to the right. It's not. How about Green Bay? Would you put them in there and pick them? And is there a number? Let me ask you this. Like Green Bay was laying 2.5, right? I don't know how much betting is really done during the course of the week, but are there people that said, listen, we can't put Green Bay 5.5. They should be 7.5. What are you talking about? It's Brandon Stinking Allen and San Fran's a 500 team. We got to make them 7, 8.5. They're at home. They got great spreads at home. And then there are other people who say, well, we can't do that. It's too big of a spread. We just can't do that. We'll get killed. And they settle on 5.5. You think that conversation happened?
No.
Those
So
are not
what
enough
happened?
money, really.
Oh no. The limits are open. You take what we used to do would take max limits on Sunday NFL games on either Wednesday or Thursday. So you open it up. If you take 100,000 a game, you start taking that on Thursday. A lot of times we did it on Wednesday, so we would involve the Thursday night game, and if they wanted to do teasers and stuff, they could get the max play. It's more advantageous to take it early because now you can move it and you can balance money and make moves and stuff. I prefer to take it earlier. Some book guys would tell you we don't open the limits until Friday, which in case, by then the number has moved. I don't know. I think you get a bet at 2, 2.5, you move to 3. Then you get the second bet and you start to go, okay, what's going on here? You might go to 4 on the bet, or you might go to 4.5. And if they lay it again, now something's up. So some books may have moved on air. I personally, again, we never really did that too much, especially in the NFL. You're supposed to let money move you along the way. I don't know. I think Green Bay is going to win pretty comfortably.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a good day, good week for the bettors with these teasers. I think these 6-point plus favorites are all going to win. Yeah, I do. All right, we'll look at the games in progress when we come back.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like and be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
It's in-game live game day here on the grid on a fabulous football Friday, college football opposite picks coming up in a couple of moments. A couple of NBA lines here, Dave, Scott and Dave, until 10 p.m. Eastern time. Crazy lines, right? We had the Celtics we were talking about in the break. They were a 15.5, 16-point road favorite at Washington. They're leading, probably going to win 99-92, 46 seconds left, but they're not covered unless something crazy happens. How about the over-under also on the Hawks-Bulls game? Did you see that one? 247 for the Atlanta Hawks. I get the Hawks at nearly 250 points. I mean, in game you see that stuff, but not pre-flop, as the saying goes. I mean, in third quarter, 72-57. They don't have any lines on that one right now. So, but that's well on pace for lower than that. So, but man, some crazy numbers tonight in the NBA.
It's, I think it's, and I can't say that I ever did an NBA Cup, but when there were times when things just kept happening, you had to make an over adjustment to see if people would still bet it, like that Celtics first half total, right? You have to just move it to a number and say, all right, put it here. The total in the Atlanta game, we're getting closer to seeing. I mean, and we've been doing this show together now for 2 years, almost 3 years. We've seen totals 252. We've seen totals 253, right? So we're getting there quicker. It's only November, but that's what that total is. I'm laughing because during a break, I didn't realize that the Boston Celtics closed as a 16-point road favorite. What do you make them at home? I mean, we'd have to have a serious discussion. I don't think you can make them 3 touchdowns, but 21? Like 21 is I've never put an NBA game that high ever in my life. But I think you'd have to make that. If there's 16 on the road, they're at least 20 at home, if not more. So 21 would be probably the top. See if somebody would bet it. And I wouldn't even know what to do. I mean, they just took it to plus 21. Okay. Move it to 20, I guess. That's a lot of points. Basketball.
But with the money,
it's not a football game.
9-10 to 1 on Washington?
What even? No. You make it like 20 to 1. I mean, there's 20 points. I'd have to look and see. You'd have to get a football chart for that. There is no. I don't have a chart. The numbers we used to go up to be 17 was the maximum. I remember we put up 17 on a basketball game with the Warriors the year they won 70 games. And I didn't know what to do because they kept betting the Warriors. So I think we took the money line off. But it'd be at least 20 to 1. You'd have to lay.
Touchdown Temple. Oh, the Owls. You want a quirky little number, by the way? If your nickname was Owls, it's not good to be the head coach. Every team whose nickname is Owls got fired this year. Four guys, 4 teams. They fired him. Yeah. What does it mean? I don't know, but just throwing it out there. We throw things out there. Just you do whatever you want with them. But if Temple Owls, Florida Atlantic Owls, Kennesaw State Owls.
Who's the other one?
Who's the other one? Temple.
I can't believe there's 4 teams named Owls.
Florida Atlantic. Rice Owls. Kennesaw and Rice.
Wow.
Yep. 7. I'm telling you, this system. We gave it out, when they were down, and then the line was 21. But Temple down 7, coaches fired system. It's a system that just makes sense. Like sometimes there's systems, Dave, that are just weird and they're fluky, and it's like I don't know why that is, but it is, so I'm going to bet it right. But the coaches fired system, especially in college, makes sense because the coach who gets fired, right? He recruited all these kids. So they all love him, right, for the most part. And they feel like they let the coach down. They feel bad. They know the wife, they know the kids, and like, wow, so they play inspired. Or they hate the coach because he's not playing me. And you know what? He's a mean guy. He's been yelling and screaming at us. I'm glad he's gone. Thank goodness. We've been tanking. Now we got a coach who we like, one of the coordinators, and then we're going to play better for him. Either way, they play inspired ball.
You got to save it for opposite picks. You're getting red in the face. You're getting excited. Calm down.
Temple down.
We need you. All right, relax. It's good.
Get 13 and a half.
It's going to be fine. All right.
Purdue's down 17-3. How bad is Purdue? Wow.
Bad.
They are bad. Opposite picks, yes. Coming up next. Special little present for opposite picks as well. Coming up.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, yes. LLs, LWs know what that music means. Time to take out your pad and pencils, get set for the fastest, and more importantly, most profitable 5 minutes in television, Opposite Picks. What are Opposite Picks, you newbies ask? Well, we give you 7 games, 7,000 reasons why we like one team, and then we go opposite. Why? Because despite all the stats, trends, hunches, injury reports, weather reports, systems, and everything else, nobody beats the boys in Vegas. Proving it again last week. Nice little 5-3 as we had 8 plays. We are now 16 games over 500. 50 winners, only 34 losers with one push by going opposite. It is crazy. Week in, week out. Amazing, Dave. So here we go. Week number 13, we're going to start with Indiana getting 10.5 at Ohio State. You know, we got not one but 2 chances to win this bet. First, Indiana plays well, and why not? They're 10-0. They've beaten everybody by 14 points or more except Michigan. Their head coach, Kirk Cignetti, he's a covering machine, folks. 23-10 against the spread his last 33 games with Indiana and James Madison, including 16-4 his last 20 games. Second way we win is because Ohio State doesn't want to blow out Indiana and ruin Indy's chances of getting into the college football playoff. Why would they? Because if Indiana doesn't get in, that means one more SEC team gets in. Do you think Ohio State would rather have Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss get in, or Indiana, a team they know they can beat the snot out of? Of course, it's a no-brainer. Love Ohio State here, or love Indiana here. Give me Ohio State plus the 10.5, or minus the 10.5. Pick number 2, we'll get it straight. Florida, plus 11.5 at home against Mississippi. I don't know, maybe the boys in Vegas, Dave, haven't been watching Florida play over the last few weeks, but you know what? They're actually not that bad. After opening out the season with big losses to Miami and Texas A&M, they've rebounded. You know, they've won games over LSU, Kentucky, not bad, and they got close losses, hanging with Georgia and Tennessee. No shame in that. No reason to think they can't hang with Ole Miss, right? And Billy Napier, Florida head coach, he's not great, except in this spot he is. Napier, 16-6-1 against the spread as a conference underdog, including 7-2 with Florida. How about 7-1 against the spread as an SEC underdog? How about throwing SEC underdogs in conference games this year? 34-16-1. Love Florida getting 11.5 at home. Give me Ole Miss, minus 11.5.
Two favorites? You got two favorites so far.
Yeah. Pick number 3 and 4. What gives? 2 picks in 1? Yes. What? UMass plus 42 versus Georgia, and Ball State plus 11 versus Bowling Green. Why 2? Because both have our favorite betting system in play, Dave, the coaches fired system. Both UMass and Ball State fired their head coaches this week. 4 teams heading into this week fired their head coaches this year. All 4 have covered the spread, 4-0. Heck, we had the Boston Bruins cover in this spot last night in the NHL. Why? Again, because kids play inspired ball because their best buddy got fired, or they hated the head coach and they play inspired ball because they're happy he's gone. Either way, the kids play over their heads. Love this play. Also, oh, by the way, Georgia 1-5 against the spread as 35-point favorites or more as they are here. And then in the other game, Ball State 11-2 against the spread their last 13 games as an underdog. Love UMass and Ball State. Give me Georgia minus 42, Bowling Green minus 11. Pick number 5, your boys.
I feel like you're fishing. I went and got a fishing hat while you were doing that one. That one you might be fishing.
Look at that. I like that.
It's unbelievable.
Put them in a parlay.
Yeah.
And that goes in line with our play, believe it or not. That Penn State white. Give me Penn State. Love them. Laying 11.5 at Minnesota. Our favorite head coach is back in his favorite spot, James Franklin. Yep. Penn State, first off, has to win, right? They're on the cusp being in the playoff, and they can't just win small. They got to win big to impress the pollsters. 1 win score is not going to cut it for them. 2, enter James Money Man Franklin. Yes, James Franklin, known as Mr. Benjamin. Why? Because that's what he produces for his backers, Benjamins. Listen to these Penn State numbers. 20-6 against the spread as Big Ten favorites. Franklin at Penn State, 56-38-3 against the spread as a favorite overall. How about on the road, though, Scott? How about 22-13 against the spread on the road? And finally, 14-3 straight up and 13-4 against the spread as road favorites since 2020. It all points to Penn State here. Give me Minnesota plus the 11.5.
I feel like you crossed the family with that one. I feel like you crossed the family. Unbelievable.
Give me Notre Dame minus 14 versus Army. I know Army and Navy, great stories. I get all that. But you know what? Irish buried Navy 51-14 when they played this year. This after Navy had beaten the snot out of everybody else. I say all this because Army, it's Navy. It really is. Same limited offense, same limited passing game, same limited defense. Like Navy found out, it's one thing to beat the Lehighs and Florida Atlantics of the world. It's another thing going up against Notre Dame. Army's yet to face a winning team this season, believe it or not, for one lousy time, and they're no longer a winning team. Last time these clubs met, Army lost 44-6. Love Notre Dame at Yankee Stadium, where it's going to be all Irish fans. Give me Army plus the 14. Pick number 7, Vanderbilt getting 7.5 at LSU. Boy, the wheels have fallen off the LSU bandwagon. They've now lost 3 in a row. All they're doing is playing for pride. But you know what? College kids don't have pride. If they had any pride, they wouldn't have lost 3 in a row, all by double digits. And that's what LSU has done. Commodores, meanwhile, 6-4. Coming off a much-needed bye, and they're set for the final 2 weeks of the season. They want to finish over 500 for the first time in 12 years. Remember, SEC Dogs number we gave you? Underdogs, conference games, 34-16-1, and 18-5-1 as road conference underdogs, as Vandy is. All these teams are covering this year. Love Vandy. Give me LSU minus 7.5. Bonus time.
Another favorite. Another favorite.
Bonus time here on opposite picks because we got two for the price of one. Pick number 8, Texas A&M laying 2.5 at Auburn. In the words of Vince Lombardi, what in the world of point spread setting is going on around here? Nationally ranked Texas A&M in a must-win situation is a less than a field goal favorite over stinking 4-6 Auburn. One of their wins came against Alabama, A&M, Auburn. So they really only got 3 wins this year. Plus they're 1-5 in conference play, losing by an average of nearly 10 points a game. Plus they have their title game next week when they take on the real Alabama team. They don't care about Texas A&M. What are you kidding me? Bottom line is 8-2 Texas A&M is not losing to 4-6 Auburn, folks. You'd have to be the biggest dunce, dummy, dumbbell, dipstick, lunatic, numbskull, know-nothing, knucklehead, bonehead, pinhead, doofus, schnook, jerk, jackass in the world to put American money on Auburn against A&M. Give me Auburn laying the 2.5. Opposite picks, special 8-pack. Week number 13 of the college football season, Dave.
Look at that. Look at that graphic. You did a bunch of different things there. You put 2 games together. You got Auburn for the bird brains. I can't believe you took Minnesota. I mean, seriously, you crossed the family. You did. Listen, I mean, you did what you had to do. I hope you're wrong. 6-2.
Go? 6-2?
6-2.
Wow. I would take that. Sam Stewart coming up next.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim that make the everyday guy look like be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on a Friday evening, getting set for really a terrific, you don't have a monster college football or NFL game, maybe Indiana, Ohio State, I suppose you could say, but who knows, that might be a blowout. So, but getting set for that, we got some hockey, one hockey game, we got some NBA, some college basketball, so let's get our winners from our good buddy Cam Stewart, who takes over top of the hour along with Gabe Morency here on the Grid, radio and TV-wise. What's going on, Cam? How are you tonight, bud?
Hanging in there, Scott. I'll tell you, last night with the Cleveland Browns, sorry, Dave, what a roller coaster for me. I even told Gabe on air, I go, Pittsburgh comes back and wins this game, I'm going to call Cardano and say, I want to be a garbage man. I quit. Like after, no, I'm not even lying. Like the fact that they took a lead in that game, I'm like, wow, Cleveland's doing everything. They're going for 2. They're getting it. They're doing this. Like, oh my God, what a sweat job. And they could have called a flag on Pickens for that pass interference too, right? Like things got a little bit dicey. But tonight, guys, you know me, I love the Sabres, but I'm not laying 80 cents now. What the hell happened to this line with Anaheim tonight? I don't like that at all. NBA basketball, really nothing. So I'm going to go, basically, I'm going with my NFL picks tonight. That's all I got, guys. And I don't know how your night went, but basically, I threw a lot on Cleveland. But as you know, Scott, Tennessee plays on Sunday. Carolina plays on Sunday. A lot of these teams, I'm not taking them all. But we'll see which dogs crap the bed for me on Sunday. That's what I do, Dave. I make it all in hockey, and then the NFL's on Sunday. I'm like, not very smart. You should just put some money away and hit it in your house.
So you're talking double-digit dogs. You got the Chiefs at the Panthers, double digits. You got the Commanders at home against the Cowboys, double digits. I mean, you don't think either one of those teams loses, do you?
No, I don't. No, I don't at all. Like, that's the thing, Scott. We love opposite picks, but I'm also not in a straitjacket yet. Like, I can if one of these, if the Carolina Panthers beat Kansas City, I will lose my mind, Dave. Because I've been riding the Panthers, and they've been actually playing a lot better. But I'm going to tell you, the Panthers might cover, but I'm not betting them. Like, I got to be smarter than this. I got to pick my spots. How do you guys feel about Tommy Cutlets and the Giants this week against Tampa?
I'll be the first one to answer.
Am I an idiot or what?
No, I'll be the first one to answer the question. I like the Giants in that spot.
So
Go ahead, Wetzel. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Wetzel, tell me.
Tell us both why we're wrong.
Yeah, you know why? Because there's been a lot of articles this week about how the Giant players were all ticked off how this was handled. They wonder now if the team really wants to win. Players openly saying, am I going to put myself out there for a club that doesn't want to win? I would be real careful. Listen, I am no fan of Danny Nichols, but for whatever reason, he had that locker room, and he's got the sympathy now of those players. Not that they probably hate Tommy Cutlets, but
Danny Nichols, not even dimes, right? Well, what about
no, he's Danny Nichols.
Danny Nichols, he's called pennies. But I'm going to say this, Scott. What do we know about the NFL? And you're an intelligent person. You're a writer, and you work for this company. Every time there's negative press about a team, and they want to get you on the other side, other things happen, right, Dave? Like the Giants actually playing a good game and maybe losing a heartbreaker or winning outright. I'm just saying that's the way these guys do it. It's all in the media. Ooh, Cleveland's got no chance. They're horrible this year. Oh, Pittsburgh, great ATS. You know what? The NFL's crazy. Like, that's the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense with these games. So I'm not saying the Giants are like a top play.
How about this, Cam? I got a 3-team teaser that can't lose, I don't think. Sunday. Kansas.
I do shows with people. Don't ever say can't lose or lock when I'm on the air. Please.
Tell me how that's losing then. There it is. Tell me how that one is losing.
Chiefs, Commanders,
and you know what? I hate the Texans more than any of the other two.
Against Tennessee?
Yep. Did you say the same thing, Dave?
I said of those three.
But I'm telling you, Scott, I watched the Minnesota Vikings game. They got jobbed on like third down calls and stuff. They were in that game for a long time. I know it'll probably win. Don't get me wrong. But don't say can't lose or lock. The first two legs, I think, are very, very strong. The last leg's strong. But I'm going to say if you're going to lose that teaser, it's behind door number 3. If we're playing Monty Hall, let's make a deal.
Good call.
That's the one where instead of getting the money, you get the pig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. What do you think about the Dolphins and the Patriots?
I love the Dolphins.
They're going to kill them, aren't they?
No, everyone's betting the Patriots as a public dog. I want no part of that team. This is the week. The Dolphins are starting to figure it out, guys. The line's gone down to 7. Know what, Scott? That's a perfect teaser. I think the
Put the
Dolphins
Dolphins in
actually.
there?
I would rather put that in
What
than
I
Houston.
said.
I love you, Dave. Me and Dave
Same
don't even
thing.
talk before the show. And we're
Nope.
very Dave's Pittsburgh sports. I'm here,
Yeah.
but I'm going to tell you something, Scott. Do another one with Miami instead of Houston.
How about Detroit? I thought Detroit.
I
maybe.
love the Colts this week.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I got a lot of problems, Scott. You know that. My name, you call yourself opposite picks. I am more opposite picks than anybody other than Joe Lisi. I was going to tell you, Cam, that the Indianapolis Colts are going to win this game outright. No, I don't think that. I think it's going to be very, very close. I'm taking Seattle. Dave, I got to tell you guys this. On my book in FanDuel Canada, they're plus 1.5. Everywhere else, they're -1. I'm like, what? Why are they putting, it's not like a premier game or whatever. I had to bet it. It really shocked me. So I'm taking Seattle. One favorite I like is Baltimore. I know, and the Chargers have been great to me this year. I think Baltimore takes care of business. Other games I like, Dave, Lean Giants. Haven't really smashed that game yet. And the other, what was the other one that I had? Oh, God, who was it? It was another stupid game. Oh, yeah. Sorry,
Raiders?
Scott. Tennessee.
Oh, they're 1-9 against the spread.
I know,
You're
but
betting on a
what
team
was
that is
Cleveland? No.
1-9
Cleveland was the third worst team against the spread before the game against Pittsburgh. Dave he tells me these things too. I don't give a crap how they are ATS. Every week is different. But if Tennessee loses, you can tell Cardano to fire me if they lose by more than 29.
Whoa.
I'm telling you, this is their week.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
When you look at Marcus Johnson, when you look at Nikola Jokic, these aren't guys that are big, super athletic, dunking and jumping over people. These are just guys that are clean, skilled footwork, and do things below the rim to make the everyday guy look like it'd be like, I can do that. But you can't, and neither can I.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Dave for 5 more minutes. Cam and Gabe take over top of the hour. It'll be good. It's a good betting weekend in college football and the NFL. I think the public is going to have a lot of success. More people, Dave, before we go back to the lines here one last time. More people, do you think, betting Ohio State or Indiana? That's the intrigue. That's the one that, sets up all the dominoes for all these other teams. And I'll ask you a question that we asked Colby. You have 6 teams more than likely, the 5 automatic bids and Notre Dame figures to get in. So there's 6. You got 6 at-large bids. Do any teams outside of the Big Ten and SEC get an at-large bid?
No. I mean,
no SMU, Miami, BYU,
get in, no.
Colorado.
They'll get in because of the conference. That's it.
Right.
Those
but no
teams,
second
that's
team. So like 3-3.
I mean, a team loses a close game in either the ACC championship or the Big 12 championship, and someone else loses or something and allows them to give them that last spot, maybe. But the way it is now, I don't think there's a chance in hell. Do you?
No, I don't. Because now you're talking about leaving Penn State out or Alabama or Georgia, and I just don't think an SMU or one of BYU is going to get the benefit of the doubt. Ohio State, they've allowed, Dave, this is a pretty impressive number. They've allowed only one team to score 20 points this season, and that's Oregon. The over-under is 52.5. Everyone's talking about the point spread and all this other stuff, which is fine, right. But, is Ohio State's a benefactor of an easy schedule, just like all the other big teams in the Big Ten. But that said, are they getting to 53 points against that Ohio State defense?
They could. But I don't know. You saw the game last night in Cleveland. I don't think they're going to have the same type of weather, but it's going to be cold. It's going to be a little bit, I think, rainy, something like that. I think you have to factor all of that in. Yeah, I think it's an under game. I really do.
They've given up 6-0, 14, 7-7, the Oregon game, 17 against Nebraska, 13-0-7. They've held opponents 6 opponents to less than 10 points. 52.5.
You don't figure Indiana to score much.
No.
That's why. That's what that tells me. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be watching that one early, and then I'll be watching late USC play UCLA. I remember that game as a kid. Both teams wear their color uniform. So you get the UCLA in the blue, USC in the red. Can't think of a much better uniform matchup. USC is the game's in the Rose Bowl, which is UCLA's home stadium, and USC is a 4.5-point favorite. That can't be right. Dog live there?
I would think so. We didn't get the cover last week with UCLA, but they played it. They played a good game. And I would tell you, Lincoln Riley is awful. As a favorite, especially for USC. So I think I would take UCLA. This is their championship, right? And like I said, Lincoln Riley's not done anything. Maybe UCLA outright. 12-26 is USC in conference games against the spread.
Right.
5-14 as favorites. Can't lay the 4 or 5. Can't do it.
Weird to say that it's a Big Ten game. It's a Big Ten game.
How crazy is that? Crazy.
Big Ten game. I get it.
I don't know how long is it going to take you to get used to that? I mean, you're going to, right? Eventually, just like Missouri, in Texas A&M and the SEC, but it's going to take a good 2-3 years. At least 3, I'll say.
Without a doubt. Next time we reconvene, we're going to have to hear about this trip to Hawaii a little bit more. I'm very. Did you get sunburned on that trip?
No. I got car sick almost, though, driving up that mountain. Which is the island that has that mountain that you drive for like 7 hours? Did you do that? Was that Kauai? No. I think it was on Kauai. It's a one swerving road for like 15 miles, and you can't pass anybody. We got stuck behind a slow driver. Yeah.
Good job, boys.
do we have a fantasy star